Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Just
Oh, look,
working
that's
our stuff
sunny.
out here.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
you're out in the sunshine in the yard. You're in
Gorgeous.
Oregon, right? You've got a sunny day going? Awesome.
It's kind of iffy. It doesn't know what
It's,
it wants to do. Hence the jacket and I got shorts on. It doesn't know
oh
what it wants
man.
to do. I'm drinking water. I'm thinking about a beer. I don't know.
It's like, which way do I go? Do I hydrate? Do I just relax?
Right,
I don't know.
right.
One in each hand.
Okay, so we've got that was asked by in the registration form by Lanaris35. Excuse me for butchering your name. How does collaboration work for you? Who's the creative one and who's the analytical one?
You want
Wow.
to say?
I will definitely say that Karelia is the analytical one. And I think we're both the creative ones. It's an evolving process. I think from our first book and second book, we have kind of two different for me, learning styles to collaborate. And Second Night Stand initially was a product that was solely in Carelia's head and mind, and then um, she wanted to she was always revising and thinking about how can we change this? How can we make it, I don't know, something. And she wanted to introduce a Black character, and I wanted to help with that. And so that process kind of took us in a different direction when I got involved, I think. As Karelia would say, I'm like an idea a minute type person, and she is very structured and organized and keeps us on task. And I'll let my wife add to this conversation.
Oh, that about sums it up there. Yep, I'm very organized, and Faye is very creative, and it works really nicely. Faye keeps me from getting in a rut, and maybe I keep Faye on track.
For sure, for sure. And we're always nice to each other, though. Um, no fights, no arguments. We're not. If we have a difference of opinion about, a direction a character should go in, we just talk it out, and we're both persuasive, convincing, and can, see the benefit of it going a certain direction. And so, it's a nice collaboration.
It's
That's
really
really
helped understand, like, to be able to articulate my thoughts about, plot or character. The instead of going through kind of intuitively, I have to be able to articulate, well, I think this should happen because these four reasons in the context of the plot, to highlight this emotion, to avoid this pitfall. It's been great.
She's very good at that. She's very good at each character's like personal trajectory, making sure we're not moving too fast or too slow, missing something. She's very detailed in that process. If I come to the table with some wild idea, she's like, but it's not in the contract we agreed to, the outline that we wrote. If we do this, then we have to change this, and then I'm like, oh, never mind.
So you've got a clear planner and pantser going on. Yeah. And
Yes, I learned
so
that was a
okay,
word. That was me.
I know I love that. I learned that in our book club actually a while back. I was like, I hadn't even heard those terms, but yeah. How was it? So I know, Corellia, we've read a few of your books that you've written on your own. So this time together, and Faye, how was it for you? This is your debut book, correct?
It is. I was saying I do NaNoWriMo. I was doing it before I took this intense job that I have now. I was doing NaNoWriMo like every year, but never going back and looking at what I had written, just plowing along and just doing it again without the that rigor that's needed to go back and review what you read. Is it good? Let's do some editing. Let's finish something. And so Corellia has allowed me to finish something. So that's been a wonderful part, to be able to see it in print, to see my name out, to say, hey, we crossed the finish line together on this. And so that's been just wonderful. My boss has read my book, and my
Mhm.
colleagues have read the book, and as it gets out there more and more, people will come up and say, hey, when's the next one coming out? So it's been a fun collaboration.
when is
And
the next one coming out?
You jumped on that,
oh,
Jess.
This time next year.
Oh, really?
And
Woohoo.
it's another collaboration book or independent?
Yes.
Yep, we're using
Oh.
Kia as the main.
Yes.
We were just talking about that.
Is it going to involve food trucks? Because that'll make Caroline's life.
Absolutely. Yep. Kia runs a food truck, over the top hipster fair food, and her rival slash crush from culinary art school is this very high-end eco chef. And they end up having to get married in order to secure a land deal that will help Kia and prevent the fast food franchise from moving in right next to the Eco Chef's restaurant. So it's due it's due at the end of this month, the manuscript. So this weekend and next weekend we have, this is our only social engagement. Other than that, friends are like, you want to do brunch? Yes, but no, we're not going to do it.
So you're totally deep in it. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming and joining us when you're in the midst of finishing touches. That's amazing.
This is my social life right now. Hey, thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
Happy to contribute. So on the heels of that, we've had a discussion in the book club about, okay, who do you think was writing which character? How did you write it? Did you each take a character for a point of view? Did you write it all together? What was the process that you went through with this?
The characters, this kind of uptight, ballerina, and then this kind of casual, like burlesque performer. I'll let you guess which one of those character traits, resonate with each author.
But in terms of the writing, we did all the plotting together, all the character development, scene development, and then I did more of the composition just because my work schedule allows it, and I've been doing this for a while. And then Faye would write some pieces, but not tied to a particular character, but kind of to what we needed in the moment. And then with the one we're working on now, Taste the Love, Faye's been doing a lot more of the composition. So she'll write a chapter and then I'll integrate it into the larger manuscript. So we want it to have the same tone as my previous books, so that it's the reader very, very much, if they like the brand, they will continue to like the brand now that we're working together. So I'll kind of take Faye's work and move it into the larger manuscript so we have that coherent whole. So we don't have it's not like Faye gets one character and I get one, or we divide it up in any official way.
Yeah, everything's massaged together like, good meatball recipe. It's just like put in together and mushed together, put together. And this I'm learning so much this second time around, and Karelia's been wonderful as we get to approaching the deadline, giving me tasks. Like, to give me a task, I need, would you do this, put this shine on this character, add these colloquialisms to this character so that it's consistent, throughout the book. So we're in that phase, and so that's really helpful for me. I'm not sitting wondering what am I doing here today, because I have some assignments that keep me on task. So, thank you, Ive.
You got it. I'm an English teacher by day, so this is
there you
definitely
go.
a wheelhouse.
Yeah. One of the things that grabbed me about just the cover when you first showed the cover, I was like, the reversal almost when I think of you two and the pictures that I've seen on Instagram and stuff. I'm like, oh, isn't that you? It's like you flipped one. Now face the tall one, and it's like, oh, was that intentional to have fun with that, or just how it happened?
I think
how it happened.
It's just how it happened. Yeah, we're focusing on we wanted the ballerina to be Black. We wanted her to come from this background that's very rigorous. She's a trained professional ballerina, very uptight, very rigid upbringing around this craft. And so that was a focus for, okay, what is the opposite of that? You know, and really exploring like what's the opposite end of the spectrum where someone is brings everybody to the table. You don't have to be trained. Bring your whole self and and flaunt yourself as best you can in this performance. And so that was really fun, kind of teeing up those ideas and then setting the scenes for how they're going to play out.
And we were delighted to have Vanessa Kelly do the artwork. That was definitely a bucket list item for me. I love her work. She's one of my favorite illustrators. And she's actually going on to write her own graphic novels now. So I think she's going to be doing less of that cover art. So it's really special to have her do that cover. She did a lot of artwork for Red, White, and Royal Blue and some other big sellers.
And she shared it with us in its development. So when the first draft she drew, she shared it with us. And so we have it, developmentally through the stages and have seen it evolve. It's just been beautiful to see her process.
It's a great cover. That's a really special way to go about it.
Yeah.
So I take it she won't be doing your next cover? Is she too busy? You don't know?
Don't know. Depends on her availability, I think. So, yeah.
Jess, did you have a question?
I do.
Okay.
I'm going through them. Sorry. So I have a question here from Write the Beats. What is both of your writing process and what are your favorite tropes? And do they differ from each other?
Let's see here. Well, my favorite tropes, let's see, two-part question. Writing process for me is get up in the morning. First, I look at the outline of the major draft. Then I set myself some tasks, and I generally work chronologically from the beginning of the book to the end. Although working with Fay, I've been jumping around a little bit more and freeing myself up a little bit from that linear process. And my favorite tropes are forced proximity and fake marriage or fake dating, which are the two we're featuring in this upcoming book. And I guess a little bit both of those in Second Night Stand as well. Not so much the fake dating, but certainly the forced proximity. And then my guilty pleasure, and our editor would never let us write this. I do like those like power imbalance, ice queen, pirate and captive kind of, boss and assistant stories. And our editors, and I really enjoy writing stories where, they are consent-based and communication-based. And I look at these characters and I think, yes, based on what we see here on the page, they could go on to have a good relationship, which is not necessarily true of the pirate and the captive. But I do have like that little secret guilty pleasure. I do like those on occasion.
I can say that I'm not a fan of enemies to lovers. If we watch a romantic comedy that has that element in it, my wife will sit there and start the commentary on why this is not a healthy relationship, why that this is not a real world. Like, we need to change the channel. So, I love the forced proximity too. I love when people are put in a situation that you didn't expect, how you behave in that moment, the consequences of how you behave down the road. So, coming up to bear witness, and so that's really fun. Process wise, I'm a lot different from Karelia. I have, eraser boards all over. I have butcher paper. I have notes galore. I have notebooks. Anything that's not an outline, I think completely different, a different way. And so so it's really helpful for Karelia to give me tasks. As we're thinking about when we first had our outline, it was like, oh, let me just pick a chapter heading and write that chapter. And it's interesting to see how little is left from that process. There are some pieces that are still present in this work that we're working on now, but that it's a process I have to kind of go through to get the kernel and essence of what I'm writing. And then that is something that I'll send over to my wife that I feel, feel proud of, get some feedback from her, and then she will, revise it and then work it back into the rest of the work. So it's a evolving process, but, I'm never going to be an outliner like her. I shouldn't say never, maybe. It's just not, that's not easy for me.
I always tell my writing students that writing is so hard because you have to be two opposite people. You have to have a sense of structure, and you have to have that free, creative, unbound, imagination. And working together is great because we complement each other in those ways.
I love hearing that you're writing together and you're not, Faye was saying, not fighting about it, that you're able to like share, and it sounds like constructive criticism or whatever needs to happen in such a good way. I love hearing that that's what's happening for you guys. And
Yeah.
that the flow seems to be, showing up in the book as well, that there's a nice flow.
The
It's
flow
fun.
definitely came through. Like we talked about that in the book club, about how you read in the book, you wouldn't have ever thought like one of you was doing half a dozen character and the other one was doing half a dozen character, and then you were emailing it to each other because you couldn't stand to be around each other because you were pissing each other off. Like it was just so molded together, and it was just chef's kiss. But will we be getting any solo books from you, Faye? Or
Ooh, I think maybe when I retire, I'm looking at retiring in about 10 years. Newsflash. Like I got to help my friend get to the White House. But after that, I think I can retire, and then I can focus, focus on the work. And it's hard to duck in and out of it. And so I really appreciate that Karelia's first thing in the morning. She's in her office, that office, at her computer, working on the work. Mine, I have to fit it in. And so until I can make it that priority first thing and not just on the weekend first thing, I think it'll be hard to do my own thing solo. Yeah.
But you've got lots of good ideas.
Yes.
oh,
I do.
exciting.
I do.
And will you be doing more solo as well, Karelia? Are you
I
gonna?
would love to do more with Faye for the foreseeable future, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have a solo book in mind. Like, oh, the musician who wants to do a solo album in addition to their band. I don't have anything like that. I'm spending the next year, I'm on sabbatical from my job, researching AI and writing, and that AI is going to change the landscape of publishing and writing a lot. And I don't know how yet, but this year it's definitely gonna shape the rest of my career as a writer, I'm sure.
Does it scare you? Does it feel like it's gonna enhance it all, or is it like a taboo?
I think it has the potential to be both a good thing and a downfall. I think even at this point now, people can produce AI written books pretty quickly. And so the author who banked on writing kind of okay books at a fast pace is probably going to be shut out by AI because AI can do that now. So I've always tried to, I write slowly, put a lot of energy into the prose and really crafting something that I hope is a pretty high quality work, something that I can share with my English department colleagues and hold my head up. And so I think, and I tell my students that the kind of care and originality and attention to language is going to be even more important now that just basic plot and character can be done by a computer. So we're really going to be looking at what can we add above events that happen to characters in a rather satisfying way. It's also going to flood the market, but the market is already so busy that I don't think in some ways, I don't see that as a big threat to the writer. I think there's something like 400,000 books are uploaded to Amazon every day or something outrageous like that. So we are already swimming in the ocean. And it is convenient. Oh my gosh. AI is super convenient. You know, you want a description of a forest. Well, give me a description of a forest, and then you can go back in and edit and make it your own. And I don't do that very often because I'm still so taboo to use AI in mainstream publishing. So I wouldn't want to get in trouble in any way. But it automates some of the stuff that's just kind of, you know, yes, I got to write a transition scene, or one thing it's great for is I'll do a free write. And so it's all messy and there's extra words and sentences that dropped off. And I'll just say, clean this up for me. And so it just does the tidying up that I would do myself, which is just basically keyboarding, you know, fix that word, remove that sentence. So it's clean enough to look at and see what I really want to write from that free write. So again, I don't do that very often because it's still so taboo, but it saves a lot of time, and it's a job, it's a task that doesn't involve a lot of creativity. It's just basically housekeeping. So I'm glad that I got to this point in my career before AI, so that, you know, I understood the playing field when I started my career. And now I hope I have the skills to carry on in this new world that we're entering really fast.
Yeah. On the heels of that, so these two characters, ballet and burlesque, how much research did you have to do into the lifestyles, the pros, the cons, the characters, the rigidity of Lillian and the free flow of Izzy? And
Faye is our research person. That is definitely her wheelhouse. And that's a way that we're kind of opposite, in that Faye is an amazing researcher. And me, and this is terrible to say as an English teacher, I'm like, if I don't find it in the first 10 hits on Google, I'm like, it doesn't exist. And I know that's not true. And I do know how to do serious research, but I don't have a lot of patience for it. I'm like, I feel anxious, like I need to be writing. And research feels like I'm not doing what I should be doing. But Faye,
I took ballet. Yeah, I took ballet as a kid for
okay.
like a wicked, I don't know, 3 weeks or something, until I have a twin sister and she went and she was kind of good at it and I wasn't. So I just kind of skipped and went around the corner and watched lacrosse and rugby games. So I did not graduate with a ballet class, but um, I did the research for the ballet, for burlesque. We attended ballet performances. We attended burlesque performances, which was totally fun. I did a lot of research on the ballet movements, on the steps, on the history, on the history of discrimination in that industry. And then just what is called for when you're at the top of your game, and the critics that will come after you, and what the pressure is around, having to, constantly be, performing at top of game constantly. And you have a burlesque performer, who is bring your whole self in. You don't need to rehearse. You don't, just all of these fun and interesting things. So it did a lot of research in books. Certainly watched a lot of dance competitions on TV, which is one of my favorite things to do. If it's cheer or dance, I'm dancing right along and cheering right along with them. So that was fun. But the research stuff, I do have time to do that, and it is a skill that I have. So that's a piece that I love. And right now in our book, which is about food and culinary arts, I've been doing a lot of research and coming up with recipes and going through that process. So that's a lot of fun too.
Faye is an amazing cook, like phenomenally good. So that's lucky me.
We've got a question here linked to how good you are at research. Can you do the zipper?
We need to invent the zipper, don't we?
Is it not real?
It's not real.
She just zipped up.
Oh God, here we go.
It was the silliest thing. we just came up with something what was silly, that would really humiliate a ballet a professional to do in public. So, you know how these silly TikTok dances go, and you try them at home. It's like, well, that is not what's being done. That's not what's being performed. So we wanted something fun like that.
So
The
you made
zipper.
up the zipper. I thought it was a real dance. I'm like, yeah, I think it's a real dance. I don't remember how it goes, but okay.
Zipping
I'm
up
old.
and
I've
One of the
got
things we were talking about in the book club that we wanted to talk to you about is when you brought up that scene about the twerking, and you brought in, the sexualization of Black bodies and using cultural dance to sexualize. Can you talk about that a little bit? I felt like it was really well done in the book, and even with the follow up for Lillian to go check in with Izzy, and say,
Mhm.
hey, here's what's going on, and Izzy to be receptive and able to hear that and not as a judgment. And just wondered if you could talk a little bit about the creation of that
Certainly,
scene.
I mean, if we talk about high culture and we talk about low culture, right? And so, Lillian is immersed in this high cultural world. And for her, that it's so hard to get there, so hard to stay there. Any little uh, slight, error in judgment to perform something like that can ruin a person's career. Um, and so we wanted to kind of pay attention to that. We also wanted to create some tension around in the show where Lillian has to assert, hey, we're Black and we don't get to do, and because of what we do, we don't get to do that. Because of the stereotypes around, Black people dancing, this kind of shucking and jiving, all of the ways that Black entertainment has been put forth through Hollywood, and all of those kinds of things can be mischaracterized. Not to put yourself in that light because it can be so damaging for careers. And it's a point where Lillian is very assertive, very protective about the reputation that she's created and the reputation of her dancers in this company. So we just thought that was something, a strong message to send, that that's not going to happen with this company, despite what the show's rules were.
And Faye did a lot of interesting research that didn't get on the page in the end about the history of twerking, the cultural foundation of that dance move and that kind of dance, which is really interesting and meaningful. And it's a shame that in some contexts it's been that culture has been lost and it's just become sexualized.
Right.
Not that I'm not totally impressed when people do it. And one of our friends tried to teach us how to do it. And white girls from Oregon don't really move like that. But I did my best.
You did.
Did you do the twerking zipper though? I mean, that would be like
That's pro move.
the
right there.
white girl.
Yeah,
twerking
that's a pro
zipper.
The
move.
white girl twerking zip dance.
That's a lot of movement.
That's like tapping your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. You might end up taking your eye out or something.
Right. Yeah.
Right, guys. So I'm just having a look at the time. Faye, Karelia, are you okay for a few more questions, or do you need to rush off?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
This is my social life. This is my weekend right here. I
Okay.
just said social life. No.
Okay, so for everybody else, if you we know that it's technically the end, but if you guys need to go, like we've said, this will be put on YouTube in a few weeks once we've breathed from Pride Month. But if not, stick around, we'll ask a few more questions. Jamie, do you have a question?
Actually, we have a few. Let me see. Okay, here's one. You're stranded on a desert island with one of your characters. Who do you choose and why? You get one each.
Ooh, that is a good one.
That is a good one.
And immediately I'm thinking through like the rubric, like, am I looking for someone who has better like life skills? In which case I think I'd probably go with Izzy. She's got the most life skills. Yeah, I think from this book, it would be Izzy on the life skills front.
Practically speaking, I'm picking Uncle Carl because he's got a yacht to get me out of there. Hey,
Yes,
hey.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
good call.
Really is like, here's how I'll
Oh, yeah.
survive. Izzy can help me survive. Faye's like, I got to go. I'm
I gotta go. I'm out of
not
here.
anymore.
Me and the Spaniels.
I like the question.
I love it.
Me and the Spaniels, yeah.
Love that. We've got another question here. Do you think authors can write believable characters that are of a different racial, economical, or social background than their own? For example, would you ever write a Hispanic, Asian, disabled, or male main character? Trans main character. Excuse me, sorry.
As an English professor, I definitely believe in the power of a good writer to write from any perspective. That's really the gift of writing, at its highest level, is to allow us to visit other characters. That's how someone can write from the perspective of Achilles, or um, a creature that doesn't exist in real life, and from different perspectives, different demographics. With that said, especially in genre fiction, it is really easy to get canceled if someone sees you as having made a mistake. And that's difficult because, you know, outside of overtly awful things, there's a lot of variety in what people see as a good representation or bad representation. So with white cis lesbians, if someone came to me and they're like, you didn't represent the community appropriately, I'd be like, F you, I probably came out before you were born. I'm like, I've got the cis white lesbian down, don't even tell me about it. But if someone came to me and said, you have your Latinx character wrong, no matter how much confidence I had in the story and the portrayal, I would be racked with worry, guilt, insecurity about that. Yeah, what do you think, Faye?
It's such a hard place. I have read novels where, you had a white person who was writing a black character and it was done well. And I've wondered, how did you get to that end process? With whom did you consult? I mean, to do it alone, I think is error, but to do it in consultation with folks, so you're not just gratuitously picking from people's culture, what you want and how you think things are, without real knowledge, without real experience, without real understanding, is to me irresponsible. That's when you get canceled. But to be thoughtful, to spend time with folks, to learn, to do your research, to talk to people, to have sensitivity readers, all of those things I think help contribute to a better end story that is believable, that is valuable.
Awesome.
That makes a lot of sense.
So
Um,
important.
yeah.
Jamie?
I was just wondering, who are what authors inspire you, and what are like your favorite authors in the Sapphic fiction world?
Oh, let me see here. I'm looking at my bookshelf. Of course, as soon as anyone asks, I immediately forget the title of every single book that I've ever read.
Of course.
But let's see here. Growing up, I think my two largest influences on me as a writer are Garrison Keillor and Anais Nin, which is pretty different. But as a teenager growing up, the kind of down-homey, funny, essayistic stories that Garrison Keillor wrote, combined with the really quite risque sexual content of Anais Nin, it made me who I am. today.
Mhm.
Lucky me. And then in terms of Sapphic writers, oh my gosh, let's see here. Alison Cochrane is one that I'm particularly fond of. She lives in Portland too, so we know her. Talene Voskuni, and I may be mispronouncing that. Let's see here. What else have I got that I
Anita
love?
Kelly.
Anita Kelly,
Kelly.
absolutely. Talia Hibbert is amazing. She's not lesbic, but a fantastic writer, and one that delightfully my dad is totally into. He's read everything she's written, which is fantastic. And let's see here. One of my favorites is favorite lesbics is That Summer Feeling by Bridget Morrissey. I believe it's her first, and that her second has not. She hasn't been released yet. But I absolutely love that one. And it didn't have the third act breakup. Like it took you almost there, but not quite. And I found that so satisfying because the third act breakup in that book would have been, in my opinion, gratuitous. And I just loved it. What about you, Faye?
What was the question? I think I'm a big history fan, so anything that Ken Follett, Ken Burns, anybody named Ken writing about history was something I just kind of really dug into. The thicker and historical, the better. That's really kind of my fun reads. But I love Jay. I can get through a Jay a sapphic romance like that. Alexandria Bellflower is really fun. Um, yeah, Anita Kelly. Oh gosh, what am I reading now? Karen Lee. The 710 Split is fun. And
Yeah,
Some Kissing
Ellen.
Between Friends. Chensia's. Yeah,
We're also reading that one. And
yeah,
I'm super excited about this one by Farah Roshan. This has got to
yeah.
be the best. It's called Pardon My Frenchie. It's got like a French bulldog on the cover. It's got to be the best title. And I love her stuff. So that's another one I'm excited about.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got One and Done by Frederick Smith.
I just went to the bookstore to pick up my
Yeah,
orders.
yeah,
I've got them all
yes,
here on the desk.
yeah. I'm gonna increase my
Nice.
male romance knowledge, so I haven't read a lot of male romance, so that'll be a fun read. I hope. Yeah,
Cool. Thanks.
yeah.
Great idea. Great
That.
suggestions.
Okay, are you good for one final question?
I
Sure.
am.
Awesome. Okay, so Karelia, you can choose any character from all of your books. Faye, you could pick any character from literally any book you've ever read.
Okay.
Because,
Wide
well,
open.
where's the whimsy? But you get Snog, Marry, Kill. 3 characters, go.
Snog, marry, kill. Okay. So I get, okay. Oh, I should make Faye go first. Okay, I can go first. I can go first.
Snug. What does snug mean?
To have sex. Haven't you ever seen a British show?
Snog is basically making out, but you can change it to fuck if you want. I'm just thinking.
Okay.
I'm just
Oh,
thinking
sorry,
of
I
you
got it wrong.
two.
I thought it was like all the way. So this is just making out. Okay.
No, we'll change it to fuck. Let's make it a bit more risque. Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay. So if I get to choose from my characters, I am actually going to go way in the way back machine, deep into the backlist from when I used to write thrillers. And there was a super rich from a sketchy family college theater professor. She tried to have a real life outside of her super rich and questionably ethical family. And her name was Dare Wilson, and I would put her for the snog. For the Mary, course, Faye, you are my only one. But I would go with probably Cade from Satisfaction Guaranteed. Very responsible. Perhaps I'd be dating myself, which would be maybe a bad combination, but very much like me, very responsible, very work focused, and yeah. And let's see here, to kill. Well, I would have to, gosh, go back to the backlist and kill off the bad guy in thrillers.
Love that. Faye? You still trying to figure out what snog means?
Yeah, you know what? Anything that Kate Blanchett has been in, or was a book that she then starred in. I can't find a novel at my fingertips right now, but Kate Blanchett.
So Carol?
Okay, yes, Carol. Oh my God. Wow. That was something. To marry. Ooh. I'm watching Bridgerton now, so the actress who plays Eloise, I think, is darling and so cute, and I love her little raspy voice, like her. And then kill. I'm thinking one of those moms from Bridgerton, also. Too
You
meddling.
got it in for the Bridgerton mothers.
Yeah. They're just too meddling. Get a life of your own.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Jamie, any last thing?
Just thanking you both for being here and letting us be your social time again. Such a treat and such an honor.
Thank you for
Look
having
forward
us.
to your
Thank
next.
you so much
Absolutely.
for
Look
coming.
forward to your next book
Awesome.
too.
And we
Thanks so
can't
much
wait
for this
the food truck.
invitation. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much. This was so much fun. Thanks for getting me out of the house into the side yard and to see other people this weekend. So thank you so much. This was so much fun. I can't wait to connect again. You're the best.